Yeah, like people get rich on crypto, but like a lot of people lost a ton of money too. So like just
Yes.
do the basic stupid thing that just works really well.
You're listening to the House Hacking Podcast, your number one place for all things house hacking.
Gabe, I am so excited to have you back on the show. I feel like it wasn't that long ago, but when I was looking it up, we were actually recorded your previous episode about 9 months ago, and that was sort of recapping your first house hack, and then you were getting into your second one. And I wanted to bring you back on the show today because you just closed on this third house hack. But before we get into all of that, I mean, how you doing? What's life been up to? What's new with you? And for folks that didn't catch your episode last time, where are you actually calling in from?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to talk about this. I love talking house hacking, as you probably know. So yeah, I'm from New Hampshire, born and raised here. So that's where I'm calling from in my third house hack right now. It's really been a crazy couple years, but especially this year. We've done 3 house hacks in 3 years. I went from working like 4 different jobs to just doing YouTube, which is really strange. And then, yeah, it's been like a crazy journey. I don't know.
Well, for folks that don't know about your YouTube channel, we touched on it last time you're on, but I'm going to put links in the show notes. So for folks, you got to check out the show notes. Your YouTube channel, what are you up to now with total subscribers?
I think we just passed like 72,000, which is crazy. Like when I originally started the channel, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stick with it till I hit 1,000 subscribers. Then I'm going to quit because I'm like spending, 40 hours a week and they're getting like 25 views each. And then just to kind of see how if you stick with it, it's just been, it just continues to grow. And now that I've been able to take more time to it, you see that the more you put into it, the more I get better with my camera work and storytelling and that type of stuff. That it's actually able to help people and actually able to provide, which has been really cool.
I know in your cinematography, the level of your filming and your editing and the cuts and transitions and like you're actually learning stuff. The value is it's awesome to see what's happened with your channel over the past year as well as you put more time into it. The quality of the footage, the storytelling is just awesome. So I'm definitely going to throw the link in the show notes for your channel. But part of what we touched on House Hack 1 and 2 was how it was helping you transition through life. So just to give us a recap, what was House Hack 1? What'd you buy it for? What type of property was it? And then, what it was renting for. And then we'll do the same thing for 2.
Yeah. So my first house hack was when I was like 22. So a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I'm 25 now. It was a triplex. It was about 190, which is crazy because now things have gone up about 25% over like the past year in Manchester, New Hampshire. So yeah, I brought about $6,500 at closing, which was wicked cheap because I had some people. I had the sellers give back money towards closing to try to put that on the loan because I was pretty much broke at the time. So that really helped. And then I moved into the first floor unit, which was like trash. There was a hoarder living there, nicotine dripping down the walls. So we completely like gutted that and like ripped down the ceilings. Oh, I had no experience. So that was like a pain. But yeah, lived there, was able to live there for free because the other 2 tenants paid the mortgage taxes and insurance. So yeah, I lived there for like a year.
And you have to remind us, was you and your wife, were y'all married yet, engaged, or that was when y'all were still just dating?
We're dating and then engaged, and then the first night we stayed there was the night like after we got married. So like we had to finish it before we got married because otherwise we didn't have somewhere to live. So yeah, that was kind of our project we worked on.
Awesome. And now what's that grossing per month in rent?
It's about $1,000 a month right now after everything.
Awesome.
Which was pretty good because the rents aren't all that high because I haven't like fixed up the other ones yet. So
yeah. And then, all right. So now House Hack 2, this was, if I remember, it was like a condo single family home that you were doing Airbnb and y'all were living in one room. Like give us that recap on this one.
Well, kind of. So it was another triplex, 2 4-bedrooms and a 2-bedroom. So we lived in one of the 4 bedrooms and renovated that while we were living there because that was pretty trashed. The other 4-bedroom, we completely renovated, added an extra bathroom, and then we rented out all 4 rooms by the room. So we had 4 different Airbnb spots going with all the common areas, like shared. So that cost about 20 grand for the whole house to like do the rehab, which was like, we were down to like nothing after buying that and rehabbing that. And then, yeah, just recently, once we bought this last one, I finally shut down Airbnb after like running it for a little over a year. So that's been nice.
Awesome. So then what's that triplex bringing in if you've got those 3 different units in there, and they're all long-term tenants now?
Yeah, they're all long-term, and the rents have gone way up, much like the prices. So income is about $4,850, so $4,800, and then the mortgage, taxes, and insurance is about $2,400. So pretty much net like $2K a month from that after some other expenses. So
awesome. And then how are you working with these 2 properties with maintenance and CapEx? Are you putting any set amount aside or a percentage, or you just saying, hey, it's the cash flow and something big comes up, I've got enough other savings? What's your sort of overall mentality with that?
So in those numbers, I roughly did like 1% for CapEx, like 1% of the property's value. So, a couple $100 a month.
Okay.
So 300, 400 for those. So that was before the cash flow that I talked about there. And then with all the rentals, I've never touched any of the income from it. So it pretty much sits, it builds up, and it buys our next house for us, like kind of helps with that. So that's kind of how I look at that. So it's just always just kind of building up a couple thousand a month, and then I'll move, every few months I'll move 5 or 10 grand into the next house fund.
Awesome. And, when we last left talking with you, part of what you wanted to do was stop working 4 or 5 different jobs. You were really just starting to grow in YouTube, and you wanted to put that time in the effort. I mean, and so obviously, what are you doing? Is you're now full-time? Are you doing any sort of other work, or is it just purely YouTube? And then your wife, if I remember, she was still working, right?
Yeah. So I'll go with her first. Yeah, she just quit her job. Well, we used her on the loan because, like, since I quit my job after I bought that last one, I couldn't get a loan. Yeah. So she got the loan for this house, and then she quit her job a couple days after.
And she specifically quit right after. Was this like strategic? Like, hey, you can't quit because we need the loan? Because this is one of the challenges I know a lot of house hackers and even early investors is, I always say, don't quit the W-2 job right away because that helps you get the loan. So, I mean, were you guys strategic about it, or did it just happen to, y'all realize like, hey, we're in the 3rd house hack, I'm fine to quit? And she was like, all right, I'm done.
No, yeah, it was pretty much that was the plan for her to quit right then. She was thinking about quitting before, and I'm like, let's just hang on till we can get that next house, because we both didn't want to live where we were before because it was a little sketchy. And it was kind of like, holding off for that. And then as soon as we passed that line, she just immediately kind of quit there. So
awesome.
That was really nice. And she's young, so it's good.
And is she have any side hustles she's going to start working on, or is she doing the property management, or she's just sort of, taking a nice little sabbatical to figure out life?
So she's like watching, she really likes working with kids, and that's what she was doing before. She was like working with foster kids, but that ended up getting really stressful and a ton of paperwork. So she didn't want to stay doing that. So now she's just like pretty much like watching some other people's kids a couple days a week during the summer, because it's what she likes to do. And then eventually she'll just be a stay-at-home mom, because that's really what she wants to do whenever we end up having kids. So yeah,
awesome.
Kind of moved to that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So now your wife quit. She's doing a little bit of childcare over the summer. And then where are you at in life?
I was running the Airbnbs. That took a while, but then we shut that down. So now I am managing the rentals, but like it's an hour or 2 a month. Like there isn't a ton to do.
And are you using any property management software?
No, I need to. Because until recently, it's been very simple. But now I've actually got like multiple places that I don't like live there, so I need to set up my online stuff. But
awesome.
I'm just doing it, freehanding it right now. So yeah, I'm doing YouTube full time pretty much, which has really picked up over the past year, which has been really cool. It seems like when we needed more money, the YouTube picked up, and then like it just kind of all worked out where it was able to cover everything. It's I started getting sponsorships that were like each one was more than I made in a month, so it was like it's been really cool to see that start to grow as well and kind of diversify a little bit. So yeah, I'm pretty much doing YouTube full time, and I started doing some like a little weird, but doing some other like acting stuff as well. So I'm hosting a show for Rocket Mortgage right now on YouTube, which has been a very interesting experience because I'm like used to like sitting alone. I'm a very introverted person. I'm used to like sitting alone in a room by myself, recording, doing whatever. And now there's like a couple people in there with me, a director and this other person with lights and cameras, and it's like 15 people watching on Zoom, like, and I got scripts and teleprompters. So that's been very interesting experience. But that's like
Awesome,
my other job, I guess.
And did they find you specifically from your YouTube channel and they said, hey, let's do a partnership here together?
Yeah, they contacted me and I like auditioned for it. And I think there was only one other person or maybe two that they had contacted. And then they kind of gave it to me, and I'm more of like the host. So it's not like my channel. Like I do the acting, they do all the editing, they do the writing, they post it, everything like that. So I pretty much just read what they tell me to read, and I could free it a little bit, but it's mostly what they want me to do. So that's been very interesting. It was kind of like I didn't know what life was gonna like lead to, because I'm like, is this YouTube thing gonna work out? But it seems like if you just put in a lot of work, like other opportunities come out of this stuff that you had no idea that was ever gonna happen. It just kind of comes up if you put in a lot of work and just keep grinding. Like things just kind of happen.
Do you think, and definitely be honest here, if the answer is no, say no, but did house hacking help?
Oh yeah.
And how did it actually help? I mean, because I even know from just editing the show and the couple little videos we do, I mean, it's not you just sit down and record and then you're good to go. I mean, like, filming and then lighting and then making sure you got the sound right and then going through and cutting and doing B-roll. It's a ton of work. I mean, and I know back there when you were doing that first house hack, it was 4 or 5 jobs and you were doing a lot of the work yourself. I mean, how did house hacking actually help you get to what now seems like a dream job for you?
I mean, it really just took the pressure off. Like when you're living for free, and then we moved to that next one, and then we're starting to make money while living there and making money from the other one because of the Airbnb. But like now I don't need that other job. Like it was because of house hacking that I was able to quit. I was making like $1,000 a month or $500 a month from YouTube. It wasn't YouTube. But it was because of house hacking that gave me the opportunity to commit all this time to YouTube, which made that blow up. Not that it's really like blown up, but like it made it like
I don't know.
thing.
I would say when you've gone from like in a year, almost doubled your follower count, I'd say that's blowing up. And now you're being a host for different shows and getting sponsorships. I'd call that blowing up.
Yeah, well, it's been cool, but it was like strictly like literally every person not every, most people I meet, I talk to about like house hacking. Dude, just try house hacking. It'll change your life. It's like a huge thing with me. I talk about it on the channel as much as I can, but it seems like right now with the videos that got popular, it's made me shift into like a minimalism. If I post one on house hacking or I post one that has minimalism in the title, the one that says minimalism will do about 2 to 3 times as well. It's just how the algorithm's working for me. But it's still something that I'm super passionate about because that was the main thing that changed everything for me. And then that allowed YouTube to kind of take off. It allowed Meredith to leave her job because we don't really have any bills and we have enough passive income to pretty much cover all of our bills from that. And then YouTube's just like kind of gravy.
I love it. I love it. Using house hacking to grow your YouTube channel and all of that. So the first 2, and I think the answer here, most folks might know. So you did your first 2 house hacks. They weren't in the best areas. So was there a compromise there with Meredith, your wife, of like, hey, we're going to live in this not so good area because there's a promise out in the future of something better? Or, what? Because a lot of folks say like, how do I actually get my spouse that's not interested in house hacking on board? And she obviously, wedding night, you're staying in house hack 1 and then you're going on to house hack 2 in not so great areas. I mean, how did that all evolve and how was that a compromise? Just share some of that with us.
Sure. Well, I think it's a little bit of a compromise, but also like kind of just being really open and honest and being on the same page, and her realizing that if we did sacrifice for, we had a plan where you have to live in each one if you're using like a first time home buyer loan. You got to live there for a year. So we're like, if we live for 3 years or 2 years at these places that are not great, you'll be able to quit your job. I'll be able to quit my job. We'll be able to raise a family, be home whenever we want, travel, do whatever we want to do if we sacrifice for like literally 3 years tops. And that's what we did. It was 3 years. And there's kind of like the 3 stages of house hacking, if you will, where it's like you start with like, all right, let's stop the bleeding. Let's get in somewhere cheap. And that's what we did with the first one. It was kind of like, it's not the best area, but we didn't really know what we were doing anyways. And it started to let us live for free. And then the second one was, now we're starting to build a little bit of passive income, again, living for free. We didn't know the second one was in a terrible neighborhood because we're kind of dumb. My brother looked at the house and he was the one who checked it out for us because we were on vacation at the time in Belize, and we just put it in an offer, not even knowing where it was. And that one just ended up being in a really bad neighborhood. But then after we got there, we're like, all right, now we're at this next stage where we have enough income to kind of cover most of our expenses, and we can live in somewhere that's actually going to be a nice, like we're going to live here for the next 5 to 10 years because it's a really nice place. It's still, cheap to live because we have another unit that's paying some of our housing, but it's kind of like that step of like, stop the bleeding, start building passive income. If we wanted to stay in that stage longer, we would have gone to another triplex. And then you start to have, all right, now you're in close to your dream home. There might be another stage where it's like total dream home. But that's kind of like what we talked about, our plan going along. And then it kind of just happened.
Awesome. So the house hacking leapfrog strategy, and I love this, the 3 stages. I might steal that and write a little article on that. I love it.
Yeah, I was going to do a video on that at some point, but you're welcome to take it.
No. Go for it. You'll produce a better video than I will an article. Awesome. I love it. All right. So house hack 3, how'd you find the property and how long did you actually have to look for it?
We were looking since a couple months after we moved into, like, once we finished the rehab in our place, even though we couldn't like move anywhere yet, we're like, we should start looking. So we were one-wheeling around like different neighborhoods, like sending letters to people. We're like, that house looks like it's kind of empty. Let's try. And so we were pretty anxious. So we've been looking for about 6 months pretty seriously. And eventually we were starting to look at open houses because we almost have enough money saved up because we were pretty broke there for a bit, which Rocket really helped it. The show really helped with that. And then, it was just an open house. Like we'd been looking more in like cheaper places. This one was, it was like $450. So it was a lot, or maybe it was $470. I don't know. It was a lot more than what we had looked at before. And I was like, this is probably not going to work because it's not going to cash flow really once we move out. We wouldn't be able to live there for free. And that's kind of always something we've had. But then we walked through on this open house, like just buzz by after seeing a couple other ones. And we're like, wow, that's like, you can live there. You can be happy there. It has a mailbox. We've never had a mailbox. We've never had grass. We've never had like our own like parking. Like we've never had like this could be real people here. And we're like, we'll pay whatever it costs because it doesn't matter too much because of the income, which we'll probably talk about in a little bit. And the other ones, like a couple $100 a month doesn't really make a ton of difference when it's that type of lifestyle change.
Awesome. So let's talk about the property then. What'd you end up closing on it, and what type of loan did you get to buy it?
It was listed for $435, and we paid like $456 with $6,000 back towards closing costs. And there was actually like, because the market is so insane right now, they actually had a thing in it where if it didn't appraise for enough, we'd have to bring like an extra $3,000 over appraisal. So it was like this whole thing. But luckily it appraised for like $2,000 more than what we ended up paying for it. So we got the money back.
Awesome.
But yeah, we used a 3% down conventional loan. So it was like, again, dirt cheap. And that was just, it worked out really good. It was cheap to get in. And we're definitely more towards the save money now because we're going to have more money in the future. We don't have money now. Getting in for as little cash as possible.
Awesome. And then what type of property was it? Was it actually a multifamily or was it a single family? To just sort of describe what it is. I know you said grass and mailbox and parking and all like the cool creature comfort stuffs that made you fall in love with it. But why did you say, hey, this has house hacking potential?
I think the reason why we were able to get it is because it is technically a single family with an attached dwelling unit. So this unit that we're in is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then the other unit's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. But it's a pretty good size. That one used to be a daycare like back in the 80s, and then they converted it over. So I think if you're like a single family type of mindset, you're like, if we're going to spend 450 grand for a house, we want a 5-bedroom house. We don't want 2 houses, you know? But for some reason it kind of snuck through there, but it was pretty much like a duplex where we're like, since it's in like a really nice side of town, a nice neighborhood, we knew we could get really high rents for that other unit. And that would cover, well over half of the mortgage for us. And then when you look at it that way, it's cheaper to live here. Like what we're going to be paying for the mortgage is probably cheaper than a 1-bedroom, pretty crappy apartment anywhere else in the city. So that's what kind of made it for us.
What did your mortgage end up being on it? Mortgage, taxes, insurance, all that good stuff.
Yep, mortgage, taxes, and insurance. Like the monthly payment is like $29.50 or something like that.
Awesome. And then I know you're just getting in. Have you rented that 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom yet?
Yes, we have. Yep.
Awesome. And what'd you get for rent on that?
It's rented for $1,800 right now.
Awesome.
So we'll probably eventually in the next couple of years, whenever it turns over, you'll fix it up a little bit more than it is now, and we'll probably be able to get over 2. But that's just what it is right now.
And did you have to do any work to get it rent ready, or was it pretty much, a little bit of cleanup and you're good to go and you got it rented for $1,800?
Yeah, because of the situation, how it worked out, they ended up doing the painting and stuff because there was like some holes in the wall, but it kind of like worked out that way where they were able to get in soon and also do a little bit of fixing up themselves. Like they're doing some fixing up and we'll cover all the supplies type of deal.
Awesome. So you're basically paying $1,100 a month to live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom with a yard, driveway, mailbox, grass. Just by comparison, you said a 1-bedroom would cost this much. I mean, is that typically what a 1-bedroom would be in that area? $1,100, $1,200 a month?
Well, for comparison, the 1-bedroom at my first house that I rented a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, was for $1,100. And it would probably be closer to $1,300 now.
Not the best area.
Yeah, not the best. It's pretty small. So yeah, if we were to live in like it would probably be at least $1,100 would be baseline. If you wanted to get somewhere like actually really nice, you're up at like the $1,700 or something like that.
And I mean, did you even look at what a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, townhouse would rent for in the nice part of town in your area?
You can't really find them. But it would be, 20, 24, something like that. Like just kind of ridiculous. Like, I don't know. It's hard to find anything decent right now.
I love it. I mean, even though it's not like this grand slam home run where you're living for free and you're making money on top of that, it falls into those perfect stages. Like you said, first stage is let's stop the bleeding. Let's, get some finances on the right track, live for free. The second stage is, all right, now we're building passive income from that first house. We're still living for free, maybe making a little bit of money. And now you move up to that more comfortable place that you can live longer term. And I mean, you're living in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house for, $1,100, $1,200 a month. That's pretty awesome considering, to be on the nice side of town, you're going to be, $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 for a 1-bedroom, and let alone can't find a 3-bedroom. So, I mean, this is awesome. This is the house hacking leapfrog strategy done perfectly. I mean, this is phenomenal. So, I mean, what's next? Are you going to do more real estate investing, or like you said, is this sort of it for the next several years?
Well, this is probably it for at least the next few years. We just want to live here for a while. It's a nice place to live. There's really no reason to leave unless we have like more kids and there are bedrooms or something. But that's going to be a while. So might do another rental in a couple years. But I don't know how much money I'm going to earn. To be perfectly honest, YouTube's kind of like I'll make, it's around $2,000 a month right now that I'm making strictly from YouTube. And then like a decent amount more than that in ads, and then also the other the show that I'm hosting, but that only has 2 shoots left, so I don't know if I'm gonna like actually have money next year. So right now I'm just like saving up a decent amount of money in case like everything
Yeah.
burns down next year. I don't have to like go out and get a job. So that's kind of where we're at.
If you did another property, do you think it would be a house hack, or do you have interest in actually going the pure rental property route, or you're just sort of like, hey, the ones I have, and if we moved out of this, managing 3 properties, multiple tenants is enough?
I don't really have a desire to have like a ton of tenants and properties. I if we did do another one, it's hard not to do the house hack. Like it's hard for me to. I've been in this stage, like this mindset for so long. It's hard for me to look at like actually paying a full mortgage by myself. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I probably would get another rental at some point. Maybe that would help cover like the single family eventually. But yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of work. It's almost impossible to find right now. Every house has gone up in the past like year and a half, say, from about like if it was a $300,000 house, now it's a $400,000 house. So it's just really hard to buy something that actually cash flows right now. It's almost impossible.
And you're not alone. I feel like that's almost everyone I talk to in any part of the country. They're like, finding a good deal is really hard right now.
Yeah.
This is awesome. So how's your wife feeling? I mean, obviously she's not on with us, but how is she liking the third house hack so far?
Yeah, she's been thrilled. Like this is such a I don't know. Yeah, like we were like almost in tears when we first got here. Like we've always been at this kind of never really having much money, being extremely frugal, living in not great places, and I don't know, maybe it's like a self-esteem issue or something like that, but I've never felt like I deserve to have this type of place. Like this is an adult house, even though it has the extra unit, which makes this possible. Like it has a fireplace, it has built-in bookshelves, like something that she's always wanted. It had almost everything that we've always wanted, and we're like, I can't believe
it's a home. It's not just a property.
It's a
home.
It like it feels so like the first couple of weeks we were here, it feels like we're living in somebody else's house. So she's
awesome.
Yeah, she's totally thrilled with it. She's got a garden going over there. She's been really thrilled, and we're just kind of open to see what's going to happen. We're going to take some time and do some traveling this year now that we have some more flexibility in our schedules. So it's just been a real game changer, and she's also telling her friends about house hacking now. So it's been cool.
So cool, man. I'm so glad we were able to get you back on. It's been awesome. Like when I first started chatting with you on Instagram, you were in the middle of that first house hack, and then we got you on the show when you're in that second one, and then just to see the progress from like 22 to now in your mid 20s, and then the way your YouTube channel has blown up is just phenomenal. I love it how you used house hacking to help get ahead financially. Man, I guess maybe one last question is, now that you're on this third house hack, I mean, if you think back, like what's the one thing you would have changed or done differently now, you've got more experience over the past 3+ years?
I mean, it's hard to say that you would change something, like, cause you don't know what like screw up led to something else like down the line. And I didn't make too many mistakes, honestly, because I did so much listening to podcasts and reading books and running the numbers, bouncing it off people. Like I didn't do a ton of mistakes, so I don't know how much I would have done differently. I would have looked more at the addresses and the neighborhoods and stuff before putting in an offer, but
crime maps are helpful to look at.
It's like literally one of the worst streets. Like there's been multiple shootings on that street since we've been there, and like we've never seen that anywhere else, and like I don't know, but it cash flows so well that like was that a mistake? I don't even know.
I don't know if I would call it a mistake, right? I mean, maybe not the best place for you to live in with your wife, but nevertheless, I mean, you got through fine and it's cash flowing. So, awesome.
The Famous Six.
Well, if you remember last time we had you on, we had a set of final 6 questions. We're definitely going to make you answer them again. Are you ready for them?
Yeah, I don't remember my answers from last time, so we're good to go.
Awesome. All right. So question number 1, what is your favorite personal finance related resource?
Personal finance related resource. I mean, probably just Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's the book I've read the most. So that would probably just be it. And like A Simple Path to Wealth, just books in general have been the things that have changed my life.
I love The Simple Path to Wealth. It's so good. I mean, I literally have a note for my wife. If I die, get hit by a bus, literally get the will, you'll see all the accounts, and then go read this book, and then that's how you invest. Don't give some financial advisor that's going to take, 1, 2, 3%. Just follow that and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be able to live a comfortable life.
Yeah, like people get rich on crypto, but like a lot of people lost a ton of money too. So like just do the basic stupid thing that just works really well.
Yeah, the flashy stuff has a lot of risk. Where just hey, do a house hack, invest really simply in equities, and you'll be good. All right, so question number 2: what's your favorite real estate related resource? So blog, book, podcast. I mean, what have you been devouring over the past year, real estate related?
I have mostly stopped listening to real estate stuff. It was Bigger Pockets originally. I binged like the first 100 episodes or something. And then I read a bunch of books. I read most of the Rich Dad Poor Dad books that related to real estate. I read the Brandon Turner's, most of his books. So it was mostly that before, but I think once you've read them all, you're like, all right, I can almost write my own book at this point because I know this all so well. So I mostly stopped listening to those things and have shifted to other areas of my life.
Awesome. Good. That's a very good answer. It works, right? All right. So question number 3, what's been your favorite travel destination so far?
So I went to Colombia earlier this year for like a fitness retreat in the jungle. No reception, 5 days. It was the coolest thing I have ever done. So it was extremely, that was life-changing.
Awesome. All right. So what's next? This is question 4. What's next on your travel vacation list?
It's either going to be Greece or Ireland. We're trying to decide, and then we'll go at some point when I find out what's a good season to go where we won't like die of heat or hit the crowds. Yeah.
Well, now that the wife's quit her job, you guys are all set to do more traveling. As more countries open up, you'll be good to go.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. We're definitely going to probably do Mexico most winters, and then like for a week or two, and then other
like
places during the summers.
Man.
Yeah,
sounds like a rough life.
That's what I love about YouTube. Like finding some type of job that you can do from anywhere. You can just travel and like still just take a few days a week and work, and works out.
Awesome. All right. So question number 5: what is your biggest bucket list item you have not accomplished yet?
I mean, I don't really have a bucket list, to be honest. And I'm worried about doing most things. So probably just traveling in general. Like I've never been across the either ocean. So I think that would be like going through Europe and stuff like that, like actually seeing old cultures that I've never really seen before. That would probably be it.
Awesome. All right. And then question number 6, what is your favorite life hack?
I probably can't say house hacking. But that's what I tell most people.
Hey, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, I mean that or audiobooks would probably be the 2 things that changed my life the most, and then taking action on those one things that you read in the audiobooks. Another thing I've been doing is writing down, like just taking a few minutes and planning out my days each morning and writing to-do lists, something that I'd never done before. And it helps me be way more productive when you like actually know, like structure your day in your week as opposed to just like kind of wing it. So yeah.
Awesome. Gabe, man, it has been so awesome having you back on the show. And where's the best place for folks to find you if they want to look you up?
Probably YouTube, Gabe Bult, Bult. I also have Instagram, but I don't really do anything on it. But that's gabe.bult. That was the ringing endorsement right there. Awesome. Yeah, those are the 2 things really. So yeah.
And we'll put links to those in the show notes. And then also for folks that are listening, he actually has some cool videos up on his third house hack. You've got the like tour video and then sort of like the number overview video. So we'll put both of those in the show notes as well. So go check out the show notes page. I mean, his cinematography is just awesome, and the way he does his editing. So just watching those is cool, but then you'll get to see more about his third house hack, and you'll really get the sense of why it feels like a home for them. I loved watching them. I actually rewatched them both twice before the interview. So they're awesome, man. Gabe, so cool having you on the show again. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And it was good catching up with you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for having me back. It was really fun.